Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are diving into something really special. We're exploring a deeply personal, remarkably raw set of notes by Lee Carle, paired up with some classic historical insights from Matthew Henry. We're looking at a commentary-style breakdown of Joshua chapter 1. But listen, this is definitely not just some dusty, ancient history lesson. It is a profound, incredibly practical blueprint for navigating life's most daunting transitions. Seriously, whether you're facing a massive career shift, moving across the country, or just going through a major life overhaul, the principles pulled from this text offer a really striking framework for finding your footing again. We're going to map out exactly what it takes to find the courage to possess our own promised lands.
So how do you move forward when your former supports just fall away? This is the actual catalyst of the entire text. The commentary instantly grounds us in a moment of massive, undeniable shock. Moses, the great leader, the ultimate support system for the Israelites, is dead. Gone. Think about a time in your own life when the person, maybe the job or the institution you absolutely leaned on, suddenly vanished. That sudden void? It's terrifying. The source material hits right at the heart of this universal human experience, facing a scary, uncharted life transition without those familiar crutches we've always relied upon.
So the crucial point is that while literally everything around Joshua is shifting and his primary human support has completely fallen away, God has not changed. The commentary makes it so clear. The divine remains absolutely constant. The core promise here is that as the divine was with those previous supports, so the divine is going to be with you right now. It's a brilliant reframing tool. Your circumstances are totally in flux, sure, but the ultimate foundation beneath your feet? Unshakable.
Okay, let's dive into the specific mandate. Be strong and have a good courage. This isn't just some polite suggestion in the text. It is the primary, non-negotiable command given to Joshua right in the absolute thick of his transition. Looking at the source notes, we see that this phrase isn't about just ignoring your fear. Not at all. It's an active, mandated courage. It's a direct instruction to intentionally summon your strength because the task ahead is heavy. The promise of the land is already made, but actually possessing it, that requires you to show up and actively, courageously participate.
Mrs. Carle distills this ancient mandate into these three incredibly practical modern takeaways. First, be obedient to the path laid out for you. Second, be strong in the face of the adversity that is definitely coming. And third, and we'll really dig into this one later, strengthen your brethren. This is where the ancient text just jumps right into our modern lives. It's asking us directly, hey, in your current season of change, are you just barely trying to survive? Are you actively practicing obedience, building up your inner strength, and actually looking out for the people around you?
Section 1. The internal anchor. Focus on the Word. Now, what's really interesting about this point is the sharp warning against self-reliance. Before you even face those external obstacles, courage requires an internal anchor. The commentary is super clear that mandated courage doesn't just magically appear. You have to build it and maintain it through a very specific internal focus. Think about it. When we hit a big transition, our default mode is usually to scramble, try to control everything, and just rely on our own hustle, right? But the source material argues that truly possessing the promises in front of us means stepping forward in obedience and faith instead. It's a total shift from self-reliance, which honestly just leads to burnout, to a deep reliance on the guiding principles we are called to follow.
So how do you actually maintain that level of faith? By continuing in the Word. Hear it, speak it, obey it. The commentary stresses this relentless, completely unwavering focus on the guiding principles we've already been taught. The specific instruction to Joshua was to not turn to the right or to the left. Translated to our modern context, it's all about blocking out the noise. When you're navigating a messy transition, distraction is literally your biggest enemy. True courage is fueled by keeping those foundational truths constantly in your mind and constantly in your mouth.
Section 2. The external obstacle. Confronting the Jordan.
Well, having inner peace certainly doesn't mean your outer reality is going to be frictionless. This is exactly where this newly anchored internal courage gets put to a massive physical test. The source notes define the Jordan River perfectly. They call it a high water test. It's not just a body of water. It represents that towering, seemingly impassable barrier standing right between you and where you're supposed to be. The commentary beautifully bridges this historical river crossing with whatever current life challenge you're facing. Whatever your personal Jordan is today, it is a high water test that you absolutely must believe will be parted. I absolutely love this observation from the theologian Matthew Henry, which Miss Carle includes in her notes. Just picture the conditions. The banks were totally overflowed. It wasn't a calm stream, it was at flood stage. And Joshua, No bridge, no boats. Logistically speaking, this was impossible. God ordered the people to cross over without giving them any of the physical tools to actually do it. It required pure, raw belief that a way would be opened for them. This challenges us so directly. Are we sitting around waiting for the bridge and the boats before we take a step? Or are we willing to step right into the floodwaters, trusting a way will be made?
Right in the middle of this grand historical narrative, Ms. Carle's notes offer this deeply personal, incredibly vulnerable reflection. Lord, let me please you in the going through. Wow. That is a profound request. It's not just about surviving and getting to the other side. It's about how we handle ourselves right there in the middle of the high water test. It begs the question, can we maintain our convictions? Can we flat out refuse to recant our faith when the water is literally rising around us?
Section 3. The relational sacrifice. Serving before resting.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a really counterintuitive theme. Up until now, the narrative has been all about personal courage, right? Your personal breakthrough. But Joshua 1:14 introduces this tough requirement to delay your own personal gratification for the sake of the wider community. This specific, wildly challenging command was given to the Reubenites and Gadites. Get this, they had actually already received their portion of the land on their side of the Jordan. They were packed up, ready to chill, rest, and enjoy what was theirs. But the command drops, nope, you must pass before your brethren armed and help them. Your personal rest, it's put on pause.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact play-by-play required of them. Step 1, leave your families safely behind in your promised land. Step 2, pass before your brethren armed and ready. Step 3, help them conquer their land. And only then, step 4, return to your own possession. Ms. Carle notes that this is entirely about placing our bodies where they are needed most, period. Even when we feel like we've totally earned our rest, true leadership and genuine courage demand that we step up and help others secure theirs first.
The phrase used in the commentary is to wait courageously upon others. That is such a profound reality check. It means our blessings are often deeply, messily entangled with the lot of other human beings. You literally cannot fully enjoy your own victory while your community is still fighting for theirs. It requires this season of patient, armed support. You've got to stay engaged in the battle for someone else's sake.
We all want the instant fix, right? But there is this deep tension between our desire for immediate promises and the reality of waiting for shared blessings. The commentary observes that sometimes God's promises are immediate, sure, but circumstances, or the very real needs of others, force us to wait. This is a massive spiritual reality check against our modern, hyper-individualistic need for instant gratification. Sometimes, your victory is just on hold until you help secure a shared victory.
Matthew Henry just completely hits the nail on the head here with this powerful takeaway. When God, by His providence, has given us rest, we ought to consider what service we may do to our brethren. This reveals the ultimate, selfless purpose behind receiving our own security. Think about it. The blessing isn't just a hammock for you to sit back and relax in. The blessing is actually a platform for you to provide service and support to those who are still deep in the trenches.
All right, let's pull all these threads together and summarize the core, practical takeaways from Ms. Carle's raw and insightful notes. First off, place your body exactly where it is needed. No complaints. Second, have zero fear stepping into this next part of your life. Despite the potential danger, despite losing your former supports, remember the divine is constant. And third, absolutely expect rest from your labors in due time. The rest is for sure promised, but the timing? Well, that's often tied to the well-being of the people around you. So I want to leave you with this one huge provocative question. Are you willing to wait courageously to help others secure their blessing before enjoying your own? As you navigate your own scary transitions and stare down your own high-water tests, I really challenge you to apply this ancient blueprint. Cultivate that internal anchor, face those external obstacles with pure, unfiltered belief, and remember that the highest form of courage is ultimately selfless. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope this leaves you with a lot to chew on as you step boldly into your own uncharted territory.